presents how to manage all that stuff. Step 1, acquire stuff. A little more and...
Where'd my bed go?
Next, consider getting rid of the aforementioned stuff.
No.
Thought so. Now go to Value City Furniture and buy a new storage bed. You'll save money and space without having to get rid of any stuff.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
And that's how to buy the perfect piece at Value City Furniture.
Now I can get more stuff.
At Persona Doctors, we help people lose weight and change lives. We prescribe safe, powerful medications that curb your appetite, burn fat, boost your energy, with natural hormones that keep the weight off. Guaranteed.
Book now and get our best B12 shot free.
Good morning, America. Breaking overnight, airport nightmare. As millions return from the holiday, a massive computer outage across the country at the nation's biggest airports.
It was just chaos.
Thousands stranded in line for hours. Reports of passengers fainting and getting sick. Fire and rescue called in. And the big security questions this morning.
Deadly weather outbreak. At least 12 tornadoes reported and flash floods hit the south, killing at least 5 people, destroying homes. Now new tornado warnings this morning as heavy rain moves into the northeast with an Arctic blast right behind. New bombshell overnight as Republicans in Congress move to strip power from an important government watchdog. And President-elect Trump gets back to business, calling out North Korea on their nukes. Kellyanne Conway here one-on-one.
Tiny hero, the 2-year-old stepping in to save his twin after a dresser falls, trapping his brother beneath it the moment he finally gets free. And their parents' urgent warning for other families this morning.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
Those kids are okay. I promise you that.
Get that out right away.
Good morning, America. Happy New Year. We can say that again. First day back at work and school for so many people.
And so many people had a typical time getting home. Did you see those pictures coming out of those dramatic scenes at the airport last night? Travelers stuck in massive lines at customs. Take a look at this video of people. This is in line in Atlanta. That's the busiest airport in the U.S. ABC's Gio Benitez is at JFK Kennedy Airport here in New York, where they experienced major delays as well. Good morning, Gio.
Robin, George, good morning to you. No doubt about it, this was a headache for travelers, but perhaps more concerning, this is the same system that checks international travelers coming into this country, and overnight it had major problems. Overnight, the nation's airports at a standstill, thousands facing massive delays.
There's thousands and thousands of people, hot, sweaty, no water.
As the U.S. Customs and Border Protection System shut down for 4 hours during one of the biggest travel times of the year. The agency says the system-wide computer problem began around 6 p.m., leaving those coming in on international flights stranded.
Completely chaotic. There was no system to who got through fast and who had to wait 2 hours.
In Miami, emergency personnel treated 7 passengers for medical emergencies, while airport staff handed out fans and water. In Atlanta, customs officials took a dozen people at a time, manually processing their documents instead of using the individual kiosk areas. At New York's JFK, delays as long as 90 minutes.
They heard you into one line, then they heard you into another line, then they heard you into another line, and it was just chaos.
Customs and Border Protection telling ABC News overnight it was taking immediate action to address the technology disruption, adding it was working to process travelers as quickly as possible while maintaining the highest levels of security.
And they told us to just be patient and get back in line.
This morning, many questioning what caused the outage of the Customs and Border Protection's computer system, creating a nightmare for frustrated travelers coast to coast. And back out here live at JFK, we should tell you that at this point, Customs believes this was just a technical problem, not a malicious attack.
Well, thank goodness they think it wasn't an attack. But meantime, how did they make sure, you said they maintained security, how did they make sure the people on the no-fly list didn't get in?
No doubt a concern, George, but right now, Customs tells us that the national security database, that part of it was always working. It may have been slow, but that it was always working.
Thank goodness for that. Gio Benitez, thanks very much.
That's good to know. Now to those deadly storms tearing through the south, also creating a travel nightmare for so many. Reported tornadoes and flash flooding killing at least 5 people. ABC's Adrian Bankert is on the scene in hard-hit Alabama. Good morning, Adrian.
Good morning to you too, Robin. Yes, those winds strong enough to rip the siding off of this church, causing some severe roof damage. And just up the road, a tree fell into a mobile home, killing several people inside. 4 people are dead following a reported tornado in Rehoboth, Alabama. 7 people were in this trailer when a tree went right through the roof, splitting it in 2. The other 3 inside managed to escape. This just one of 12 reported tornadoes in 3 states overnight, including Georgia, where 70-mile-per-hour winds combined with rising floodwaters created havoc on the roads. Emergency workers racing to the scene after this massive tree fell on a home, hitting 2 cars and blocking streets. Raging winds in Mississippi overturned tractors and knocked through houses. In Florida, a 70-year-old man was killed by fast-moving floodwater. More than 11 inches of rain fell in Crestview, one of many communities where rising rivers and overworked drainage systems made roadways impassable.
5 seconds.
And Robin, you know, the National Weather Service has yet to come out and survey some of this damage to confirm whether or not it was indeed a tornado. Either way, the cleanup begins. Robin?
It does. Adrian, thank you. We're going to go to Ginger now with more on those storms and where they are moving this morning. Ginger.
Throughout the early morning hours, we were seeing tornado warnings still popping up, Robin, and now those strong storms have made their way into North Florida, through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, even Virginia this morning. And that's where the action is going to be for the later morning and early afternoon. Then we can say goodbye, but not before it'll leave more severe storm reports already. At this point, at least 135 reported from Texas to South Carolina. But I wanted to bring in the next big headline, and that is that Arctic air. My goodness, is it going to be cold? A good shot of January here. It'll feel like 5 in Kansas City tomorrow morning, 22 Minneapolis. Chicago will be 5 below, and then the air slides here. So the feels like by the time we get to Thursday, feels like January. George.
Winter is back. Okay, Ginger, thanks very much. We're going to overseas now to that manhunt for the terrorists who gunned down 39 people on New Year's Eve in Turkey. ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attack as we learn new details about the man who carried it out. ABC's Alex Marquardt is live on the scene in Istanbul. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, George. Turkish authorities do believe they are closing in on that suspect. We've got lots of new details from police sources this morning who tell us they have the name, but they aren't yet revealing it. They say the suspect is from Kyrgyzstan in Central Asia, that he arrived in Turkey in late November with his family and then traveled here to Istanbul just 4 days before the attack. This is the face of the alleged killer as he strolls through one of Istanbul's central squares just a few days before the attack. New images of the suspect, whose name hasn't been revealed, and new details about how he did it, reportedly taking a taxi just before midnight to the upscale Reyna nightclub. He then stormed in at 1:15 a.m. Over just 7 minutes, he fired 180 rounds of a caliber bullet used by AK-47s, using 6 clips, leading experts to believe he was well trained. The gun, police sources tell us, is not from Turkey, adding that the attacker also used flares to illuminate his targets. Here, he appears to be taking off his jacket. Sources tell us they believe he changed his appearance to help his escape, and then pretended to be wounded and limp to blend in with those fleeing. He escaped in another taxi, going less than half a mile before getting out carefully, looking around and walking away slowly. Behind him, carnage. Among the wounded, 35-year-old American Jake Rock in Istanbul on vacation, who was shot in the leg and pretended to be dead. He was flown home to the U.S.
All I can say is it's a massive tragedy. This is very unfortunate.
With ISIS now claiming responsibility, they are sending a clear message that as they are beaten back in Iraq and Syria, we can expect to see more attacks like this here in Turkey and beyond. Robin? All right, Alex, thank you. We have the latest now on the Trump transition. 17 days until the inauguration, and the president-elect is back to business and back on Twitter. We're going to hear from his senior advisor, Kellyanne Conway, in just a moment. But first, ABC's Cecilia Vega is at Trump Tower here in New York. Good morning, Cecilia.
Robin, good morning to you. A new year, a new tweet storm. Donald Trump, as you said, may be just days away from his swearing in, but on Twitter, at least, he's now looking backward to November and that big win, taking another victory lap.
Fresh off his big New Year's bash in Mar-a-Lago.
All I can tell you is we're going to do a good job. Okay? We're going to do a good job.
Donald Trump is ringing in 2017 with a Twitter blitz. And it seems no subject is off limits. The president-elect writing, North Korea just stated that it is in the final stages of developing a nuclear weapon capable of reaching parts of the U.S. It won't happen. Plus, a jab at Chicago's mayor on that city's murder rate. If mayor can't do it, he must ask for federal help. Even a complaint about a new book. Trump writing, "It used the worst cover photo of me." Just 17 days to go until inauguration, Trump is promising something else on the calendar first. Big news on those Russian hacks.
I also know things that other people don't know, and so they cannot be sure of the situation.
Like what do you know that other people don't know?
You'll find out on Tuesday or Wednesday.
He's still doubting evidence from 17 U.S. intelligence agencies who say they have concrete proof of Russia's involvement.
I want them to be sure. I think it's unfair if they don't know.
And Trump is back here in New York. Today he's got meetings right here in Trump Tower, including with Mike Pence. Everyone, George, is now waiting to see if today might be the day that he releases whatever this new information is that he says he has on those Russian hackers. George?
And Conway about that, but now that the new Congress is back for its first day of business, so much on its plate, from repeal of Obamacare, tax reform, confirming Trump nominees. So let's bring in our congressional correspondent, Mary Bruce. And Mary, even before the official swearing in today, the House GOP voted overnight to take away the power and independence of the Congressional Ethics Office.
George, this came as a huge surprise. Late last night, behind closed doors, House Republicans moving to effectively gut their own watchdog. The Independent Ethics Office was created to keep lawmakers in check, to help investigate allegations of their own wrongdoing. But now Republicans want to move that office under their own control, saying it will create a fairer process. Even Republican leaders are frustrated by the move, and Democrats are outraged. It is definitely a sour note to kick off the first day of the new Republican-led Congress.
And such a packed schedule, Mary, for this Congress, including getting those Trump cabinet nominees confirmed. Those confirmation hearings scheduled to start soon.
Yeah, and Democrats are ready to go to battle over those confirmation hearings. They're specifically targeting 8 of Donald Trump's picks. In particular, they want those nominees to release more of their personal financial records. And if they don't, George, get ready for a long, drawn-out fight up here on Capitol Hill. George.
Thanks, Mary. Let's get more on this now from Donald Trump's senior advisor, Kellyanne Conway. Welcome back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, George.
So let's start out with this congressional action. President-elect Trump famously promised to drain the swamp in Washington. He wanted real reform. So is this what he had in mind? Does he support what they've done?
I haven't discussed this with the president-elect directly, but let's make clear that you're still going to have an Office of Complaint Review. In other words, it's not like we're taking away.
But now it's under oversight of the Republican majority in Congress. It's not independent.
Well, but the full House will vote on it today, and the Democrats will have their say. Certainly, they're part of the House. But look, there's a very ambitious agenda to push forward. The Republicans have been given the majority in the House and the Senate, most of the governorships. They've won over 1,000 state legislative seats under President Obama's watch. So there's a mandate there for them to make significant change.
But is this the way to start gutting the Independent Ethics Office?
Well, but again, gutting it doesn't mean that there won't be a mechanism. I don't want your viewers to be given the impression, George, that there's no way for complaints to be reviewed. But there's also been an overzealousness in some of the processes over the years. And we don't want people wrongly accusing. We don't want people mired in months, if not years, of ethical complaint review.
Let's talk about North Korea. They are signaling they may test an intercontinental missile. We saw that tweet from President-elect Trump saying it won't happen. So does that mean he's going to order the military to shoot down a North Korean missile test?
It doesn't mean anything like that at the moment. He's not president yet, and he's not making policy at the moment. We still have a president for the next 17 days, George. At the same time, President Trump will be very tough on those who are developing nuclear capability. It's been a big disappointment to many Americans, including the president-elect, that Iran, for example, was emboldened and increased its nuclear capability through one of the deals that this administration has put forward.
But their program is now on hold. What about North Korea? You know, there's so few avenues, so few tools to stop them. What is the president-elect suggesting he's going to do?
He has not stated that publicly, and he won't before he's inaugurated. But we do know that there are sanctions that are possible. They haven't always worked. I think China would have to have a significant role here as well. But he's putting them on notice. He's putting North Korea on notice through this tweet and through other statements that this won't happen. He, as President of the United States, wants to stand between them and their missile capabilities, which experts say could be deployed to reach Seattle almost immediately.
Finally, on that Russian hacking, you know, so many people were caught by surprise by those comments by Mr. Trump over the weekend saying he knows things that other people don't know about the Russian hacking. What was he referring to?
Well, presidents and president-elects have to know things that you and I don't know. I sure hope they do. He's privy to intelligence briefings of all sorts. He has the presidential daily briefing, which is a product, but he has other briefings. And today he is...
But it's the consensus of those intelligence briefings that Russia was behind it.
Well, Julian Assange of WikiLeaks said just yesterday in an interview that will be aired tonight on a different network that it was not a political party and it was not
So is that
Russia.
what Mr. Trump was referring to?
No, he's not referring to that. But he also has said, as president-elect, that he is receiving an intelligence briefing from our top intelligence officials from across this country here in New York early this week, and he plans to do that. And the reason he's doing that is because he wants the information. You know, there's
But he
so
was
much
saying he already knew something on
insinuation
Saturday that we don't know.
Well, he does know things that we don't know. We see a lot of blind quotes. We see a lot of unsourced information. There were CIA operatives, George, who were invited to testify before the House Intelligence Committee and refused to show up and instead are leaking to the press. This is not how we as Americans want our intelligence to necessarily work. Look, at the Trump, in the Trump administration, we believe that politics should not interfere in our intelligence, but we also believe that intelligence should not interfere in our
So if
politics.
those intelligence officials come to the president like today or tomorrow, whenever that briefing is, and say, we know Russia was behind it, will he accept it?
He'll have to see all the evidence. He'll have to see what's in the briefing. And remember, you're not saying it now, but many people on TV try to conflate any Russian hacking that may have occurred with the election results. And that has been conflated, unfortunately, where people are still trying to find a reason why Hillary Clinton lost. You can't deny it, because on every other network, on everything, everyone who makes a statement about the Russian hacking these days are saying, aha, and that's why Hillary Clinton lost. I think it was very embarrassing to the Clinton operation to have the content of those emails revealed to the country. That's what they really don't like about it, that they were questioning Hillary Clinton's judgment. Can she find her voice? People were calling Chelsea Clinton a spoiled brat. It was a very uncomfortable situation for them.
Kellyanne Conway, thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
And we do expect that intelligence briefing today.
We do, and we do know 17 days until the inauguration. We're going to go to Amy now, the morning's other top stories, starting with a mishap on a flight.
That's right. An investigation is now underway after a baggage handler became trapped inside the cargo hold of a United Airlines flight from Charlotte to Washington. Airport workers soon realized what had happened and called the FAA, which immediately then worked to confirm the man was an employee and not a stowaway or someone posing a security threat. It's unclear, though, how he got locked in the cargo hold in the first place. Well, a federal judge says Charleston church shooter Dylan Roof is competent to represent himself during the sentencing phase of his trial, which begins tomorrow. The same jury that convicted Roof of killing 9 black churchgoers back in 2015 will now decide whether or not he gets the death penalty. A dramatic crash in California. An SUV stalled on this freeway with no lights on. You see what happened was hit at full speed. A news photographer was there, ran to pull the driver out of the burning vehicle, dragging him away to safety. Neither man, thankfully, was seriously injured. Some quick thinking there. And in Hawaii, officials at Volcanoes National Park hope to have a new viewing area for visitors that opens today. The previous viewing area was abandoned over the weekend because this massive section of lava crumbled into the ocean. Some visitors were removed with just moments to spare. Wow. And in sports, Oklahoma beat Auburn 35-19 in the Sugar Bowl. But the game everyone is talking about is the Rose Bowl. USC scored 17 unanswered points, including the game-winning field goal as time expired to beat sorry Lara Penn State 52-49.
Did you see Lara earlier this morning? She was just like...
It was a tough night for Lara.
Yeah, we have to be... That was quite a game.
We'll be kind and popular.
We will.
How about we move on to a little love on the tennis court for a line judge in the line of fire. Take a look at this. She was hit by a serve during this match in Australia. The ball that struck her was going at 126 miles an hour. You see there American player Jack Sock rubbing her head, giving her a little kiss. She's okay. She even stayed on the court. I mean, after all, it was his fault. But it ended with love. Is it too early for puns? Should I save that for 8 o'clock?
Yeah, when you had the audience. Remember, it worked really well.
They laughed it.
We do too. We do too.
You were laughing on the inside.
That's right. Ginger, no laughing matter out west with all this snow and cold.
Not at all. Look at this. This is Bay Area snow. 2 inches. That's Hamilton. They actually closed down the observatory on this mountain. And this is an area, though, you guys, that needed this snow and rain, and they're getting blasted again. There's part of the Sierra that could get up to 4 feet. You already see some of those new storm alerts that stretch all the way into Wyoming and Colorado. Polar jet, subtropical jet come together. Very exciting stuff. All right, let's get to your local weather in 30 seconds. First, though, the Tuesday trivia brought to you by Walgreens.
Look at you, saving money on your Medicare Part D prescriptions. At Walgreens, we make it easy for you to seize the day by helping you get more out of life and Medicare Part D. Now with $0 copays on select plans and rewards points on all prescriptions, Walgreens has you covered. So drop by and seize the savings. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Temperatures today not budging much, 46, 47 for a high temperature. And look at the rain, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., our heaviest. And that really is going to impact area roads. Could see some ponding on area roads by late morning. We do a little better after 2 o'clock today. Wintry system for the end of the work week could lead to some delays for the Friday morning rush. And it's cold air right through the weekend into the early part of next week with highs that'll be topping out at about 30 to 35 degrees.
Coming up, the ABC News exclusive, the sisters of Carrie Fisher speaking out, an emotional interview, their final conversation just hours before Carrie's last flight.
And that New Year's jewel heist right here in Times Square, just moments after the clock struck midnight and the ball came down. Urgent manhunt right now.
My friends know me so well. They can tell what I'm thinking just by looking in my eyes. But what they didn't know was that I had dry, itchy eyes. I used artificial tears from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed. So I finally decided to show my eyes some love. Some eye love.
Eye love means having a chat with your eye doctor about your dry eyes. Because if you're using artificial tears often and still have symptoms, it could be chronic dry eye.
It's all about eye love, my friends.
At Farmers, we've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything, even a rodent ride-along.
All right, buddy. Don't forget anything.
I won't, Dad.
Good morning, Captain Rod here. It's pretty hairy out on the interstate. Traffic is literally crawling, but there is some movement on the east side overpass. Getting word of another collision.
It happened December 14th, 2015, and we covered it. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Anything meant to stand needs a stable foundation. A body without proper foot support can mean pain. The Dr. Scholl's kiosk maps your feet and recommends our custom-fit orthotic to stabilize your foundation and relieve foot, knee, or lower back pain from being on your feet. Dr. Scholl's.
That was invigorating. You're probably wondering why I just carved a giant wooden tiger. Well, the answer is that a real one would maul me. I've crafted Dr. Whiskers here as a visual aid to show you that should you visit the lot, CarMax associates will not pounce like tigers because people don't like that. Come here to buy a car, Dr. Whiskers won't pounce. Nobody will.
It's all-you-can-eat pancake time at IHOP. So put on your stretchy pants and find out how many delicious, world-famous buttermilk pancakes you can eat. But you better hurry, because all-you-can-eat pancakes ends February 12th. IHOP. Eat up every moment.
We're putting a human into space. It's never been done before.
I'm an excellent shot.
Get it, girl. We all get there together. We don't get there at all.
Deal me in.
Hidden Figures. Rated PG.
Triscuit is a classic. Experimenting is the most fun part.
What do we got here?
Hard-boiled egg.
Brie is a really soft cheese. Avocado. We're Roger and Isabel from Sub Edge Farm.
You have so many possibilities.
Right in your stomach! Watch this! Yikes. That ice cream was messing with you, wasn't it? Try Lactate. It's real ice cream without that annoying lactose. Lactate. It's the milk that doesn't mess with you.
From ABC 7 News, this is a Good Morning Washington update.
Good morning, Washington. I'm Melanie Hastings. Here's a check of your top stories. Right now, we are expecting new information from Howard County on the death of 16-year-old Charlotte Zaremba. Police tell ABC 7 that they are just about ready to give an update on the case. Zaremba was shot and killed in her own bedroom over the weekend. The suspect, a 15-year-old, shot Zaremba, her mother, and then herself. Her mother has been released from the hospital. The suspect, who has not been identified, remains in critical condition. The Woodbridge man accused of killing his wife and police officer Ashley Gwindon has a pretrial hearing today. Police say last February, Gwindon was responding to a domestic call at Ronald Hamilton's home when he shot and killed her. We'll check weather and traffic after the break.
Save up to 80%. The Jewelry Exchange has 2-carat Heart of the Sea pendants for $69, half-carat hoop earrings $2.99, 1-carat $4.99, tennis bracelets $3.99 per carat, and diamond studs are $5.99 per carat. Buy factory direct and save. The Jewelry Exchange, Bethesda.
My daughter wants to stay organic. My husband wants to stay free from artificial ingredients. My whole family wants to stay free from artificial preservatives. And my debit card wants to stay on a diet. Fill your cart with Giant's Nature's Promise brand. Great prices on over 800 organic and free-from items. Eat well for less. My Giant. Now save this week with 40% off select Nature's Promise pork or sausage and on new Nature's Promise free-from grain bowls 2 for $6.
It's go time at Dunkin' with 2 wake-up wraps for $3. Enjoy 2 freshly made oven-toasted wraps with bacon, sausage, or ham, and keep on all day. America runs on Dunkin'.
Like most women, you have a morning routine to help you be your best all day. But if you suffer from heavy periods due to uterine fibroids, being your best is usually preparing for the worst. Doctors are now conducting a research study evaluating an investigational medication that may reduce bleeding due to uterine fibroids. Qualified participants will receive study-related care and investigational medication at no cost. To see if you qualify, visit myfibroidstudy.com or call 1-844-35-STUDY.
Our managers have a great experience with Dale Carnegie.
The instructors make the class engaging, and our employees walk away feeling that they've had fun, plus they've learned a lot.
At Sinclair, our managers feel energized and empowered with tools to be better leaders.
I value the relationship that Phoenix Contact has with Dale Carnegie.
We find their leadership principles to be timeless. They worked yesterday, they work now, and they'll work tomorrow.
Dale Carnegie, Ignite Performance.
Get ready for one soggy day. Moderate to heavy rain between 7 and 11 a.m. this morning. Rain will taper after 2 o'clock today. Temperatures top out in the 40s, mid-40s. But look at the next big change for us after a gorgeous day tomorrow with highs in the mid-50s. Cold air moves in, and with the next system coming in late Thursday after sunset, could be a wintry mix as we head into early Friday morning. There's a look at your extended forecast. Maybe some travel delays for Friday morning. Cold through the weekend.
Veronica, commuters about to start their day are going to find wet pavement and a lot of congestion out there. We're starting on Interstate 66, another accident, this one eastbound just as you approach Sudley Road. We're blocking a lane and we've got the gridlock on the approach and of course gridlock continuing to the Beltway. Beltway collision on the outer loop between 202 and 50. We've got more news, weather and traffic on News Channel 8 right now.
Say hello to your new morning routine. McDonald's Sausage McMuffin with egg. Made with tasty sausage, melted American cheese, a freshly cracked egg, all on a toasted and buttery English muffin. It's now only $2.
Here's your receipt. Have a nice day. Thank you.
The IKEA Winter Sale. Get up to 50% off select items now through January 10th. IKEA. Some of us walk in place. Some of us walk to take us places. And some of us walk to become warriors. Powering more research, more screenings, more access to care, more survivors. Blisters are temporary. Fierce is forever. Avon 39, the walk to end breast cancer. Warriors wanted. Register today at avon39.org.
Feast your eyes on McDonald's new